My bad. No, it wasn't even my bad. It was literally intentional. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Testing, testing, setting up, testing. They are the same thing. No, they are not. Let me properties. This aligns to the right now, okay? And now this aligns to the right. What the fuck is going on? To the left. Why was it not aligned? What did I do with this? Properties? Ah, I added spaces. That's everything that happened. Setting up. Okay, there we go. That's done. This is also done. Also, why is this like bigger? There we go. This, I don't like how this one looks. I don't actually like how it looks. What if internet testing? Something like that. Transition. Oh, okay. No, give me a second. Like that. And that. And like that. Yeah, it works. That works. What else? I should probably close Steam. I don't have any reason to have it open. Do I need to actually close it down? No. Anyway, that's being. Ah, yeah. I should have made a pin. A pin. A pin. A pin. A pin. Sorry. Let me first and foremost today. Dot colon. Today colon rainbook. And the pin that I said that I should make. Ask any question out to. Also, welcome Crespian, good evening. Also, I should actually check the audio. I haven't checked the audio myself. This one, pin. Are you sure you want to pin this message? Indeed. To my own channel? No, to the channel of someone else, actually. I was trolling so hard. So, that's the pin. The pin. The pin. The. Anyway, something else? Am I forgetting something? I have the book open. I have Gaso, not Vido, Gaso open. Yeah. How does Mahabharata look in this? Yeah. Also, sorry, I don't know. I think I say it, but maybe I didn't. I am trying to finish setting up. But welcome, Christian. I hope you're having a good day, a good evening, a good life. Everything. I hope is going well, and your day is looking bright. Life is good, and I hope that is also something that you feel. So yeah, today we're gonna be reading some book called the Mahabharata. What is it about? A great question. I don't know. No, yeah, it's a story, but no, yeah. We're already know stuff, so don't worry about it. Also, I like how incredibly vague is Twitch as a platform. I have dismissed the subscribe to win drops in Discord message for 20, 30 times at this point. It never shown again. Fucking, sorry. The point is, here we are. Let me put this here. I guess over there works. Never. Yeah, it never stops appearing, reappearing, continuously appearing, showing itself again and again, driving me crazy. Something like that. Yeah. I can close the Discord. I don't need to have the Discord open. I mean, I have the application open in the background. No, I don't. I am so good, actually. I'm such a clever guy. Anyway. What else? Something else? Remove hardware safely. I don't need to do that. I have the page in which we are going to continue from. The screen. This screen is incredibly bright. I guess I'm going to die from eye burning or something like that. But what? What? No, 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 no. We have time, right? We have some time. We have 2 minutes. Let me actually decrease the brightness. Holy shit, it's so bright. Adjust color. Yeah, brightness. Zero brightness. There we go. Perfect. For reading, works. For everything else, it loses all the contrast, but for reading, perfect. It's literally black and white, this particular book, so we don't need brightness. I don't need brightness. Gamma? Why does it have so much? What the fuck is gamma for? What was gamma for? I don't actually remember. Cancel. I'm not going to touch that. Gamma? What? What was gamma for? Gamma makes it brighter for some reason. Anyway, cancel. Don't apply those changes. I'm not going to change anything of that. True. So, what's up? OBS didn't crash? Okay, very good. Gamma is indeed brightness? What? What are you talking about? Gamma screen. Gamma on a monitor refers to how brightness of the display changes. What? Why are there two different settings for brightness than gamma? What's the point actually? What? Anyway, what? Why are there gamma and brightness? Brightness, brightness. Gamma rays, high energy, and the term brightness. Brightness on a screen, yeah. Brightness adjusts the overall light level of the screen, while gamma adjusts the midtones to compensate for how the human eye perceives light, ensuring detail is visible in both dark and bright areas. Brightness simply makes the entire image lighter or darker, but it can cause dark areas to become washed out grays or bright areas to lose detail. Gamma correction conversely applies a specific curve to the image's brightness, which is a more nuanced adjustment that uses more bits for darker tones where human eyes are more sensitive. And there is also a video explaining that, but it lasts like 7 minutes. We're not going to watch it. I already get it. So interesting. I assume not that I assume I see, but anyway, we are not here to learn about color theory. Starting soon. Holy shit, we are overdue. We are overcooked. Is overcooked the name of the game? Did I just make it up? Yeah, it was overcooked actually. But no, it wasn't that one. I saw Plate It Up. They're literally the same game. Plate Up. Plate Up and Overcooked. Both of them were like, what was it? Not both of them. Only Plate Up was like given through the Amazon free games thingy. I think it was for Epic or it was directly on Epic. I don't know. An offer was made and Plate Up ended up winning, being gifted. So anyway, let me try to finish reading the rest. There we go. Hello, good evening. Here we are. I already have even the scene for the Mahabharata. I just needed to actually change into it. Nothing else actually, but No, yeah, we're good. So, welcome. Uh, yeah, my question is, I don't know, I don't think it's actually all that necessary to have something like this text. We have screen information, we have on the bottom right corner the subtitles. I don't think they are necessary actually to some degree, taking taking into consideration that the most important text, which is the one contained in the book, is visible on screen when I am reading. I literally show it, so it shouldn't be any problem whatsoever. Let me. Streaming? No. Mahabharata. There we go. Here. What the fuck? Why does it look like that? Why does it look like that? What? Why does it look like that? What's. Oh. Do I need to. I'm going to kill myself. Give me a second. I should have foreseen the consequences. Why does it actually look like that? Why did it say, yeah, you know what? Fuck you. I'm not going to function whatsoever. Why does it look like that? Is it the screen? What's the problem? What's the problem actually? Is the window capture the problem? Remove. Are you sure you wish to remove window capture? Yes. New window capture. Mahabharata 2. This name is already news. Mahabharata 2, yeah. Select a window to complete Mahabharata. Thank you. And now I have to trim it down to only what is visual. Yet again, I love this. Why did they decide to look like that? Why did they decide to actually troll me, particularly? Let me. I think like that. That's the proper corner or something like that, yeah. And now make it shorter over here. Not so short actually. I can. Let me see. I think I have it almost. No! Misclick. Misclick. I misclicked. I shall have resized, not change the dimensions. It doesn't matter. Okay. Want to do it properly. Through. Okay. It's almost there. It's almost there. Now, I need to send this to. It's going to want the last layer, anyways. Transition. That one looks kind of alright. Kind of. Now it looks fine. Okay, there we go. Now let me move it a little bit like. I always had it like that. I guess we can have it like this. A little bit overlaying with the text that says. What the fuck does the text say? The mic has white noise from the mouse. This one isn't even true anymore. Can't we copy the source and add subtitles over there? They are going to be sideways, but they could fit there. What if we do that? Let me see. This what is the source? Transcript copy. Mahabharata. What is text? Remove. Are you sure? Yeah. Paste. And this goes over here. I have to throw 50 and I need to keep talking for a little bit to make it sure that it fits properly to some degree. I think the only issue unavoidable is that it is going to be like incredibly tiny, probably. But it's fine. Compared to absolutely nothing, it's fine. But that's sort of done, I guess. Also, why do I look so tiny? myself. I see myself well. The there, somewhere around there. There. Okay, it works. This one also has to be a little bit shorter. Did I shorten it? What did I do? Hello? What did I do? What did I do? What did I do? I did something. I did something. I did something. What did I do? I didn't change. Oh my god. It doesn't look all that good actually. I know what I did. I did the other option, the incorrect option. I didn't use the right way of transforming the text. There we go. It looks fine, quote unquote. Yeah, yeah. It looks somewhat good actually. I should let me actually check. How do I look? I need to open it on a different browser because this is capturing one browser, and I can't use that one browser to check because unavoidably if I change window, I cannot see anymore what I want to see. And we could, but I am not going to use the Twitch scene to check on there. So let me use a different browser. And also taking into advantage that I open a different browser, I can also check the audio. Yeah, it's incredibly funny. To have to set up this stuff is just the best. Why is there no clock sound? Why am I going crazy? I need a... Okay. There is. Anyway, text. What I wanted to see. Can you read the text? You can't. It's incredibly visual. It's impossible to read. Anyway, good luck. If you want to read... so, you know what? It works. It works. It works. It absolutely works. So yeah. Anyway, now let me actually start reading. I guess. So very good. Here we are. The Kundala Harana Parva left here last time, I think. No more anything else to set up, I hope. And if I forgot to set up anything else, doesn't matter. We're good. I don't know actually. I think yeah. I haven't speaking. I had some conversations with a friend of mine. Supposedly I have a big screen enough that I should be capable of resizing yet again. I just need to find a way to make the thing that allows you to like adjust the borders in your screen. That thing is what I need to do, and it's kind of hard to actually do, so that's the only issue. But besides that, we are probably... I don't think I'm going to stream at like 2K. I don't... Can you watch streams at 2K? Or I know that 4K is an available quality. I don't have the internet for that. And I don't think that I can stream at 2K. More than anything else, what I'm trying to say is, because I'm pretty sure not only it is quite meaningless, it might be way too intensive for even if it is a quote-unquote good PC, I'm not going to use it for that actually. So, we are good at 7... What's the quality? What are we in right now? 760... what? And 68p. What's this quality? But yeah, that quality, that works better than nothing. So yeah, anyway, that's the other note. And anything else? Yeah, I have to figure out how to... It's a peculiar number. Yeah, I mean, it has always been a funny thing that I always streamed at weird qualities for some reason. I never streamed like at a normal number. Whenever you watched at a stream of mine, I think in the past, like, yeah, ever since I started, probably, I have been like an incredibly strange numbers. I remember streaming when we were on the previous PC. I think it was like 256p, It wasn't even 360. No, yeah, it got to be 360. Before that, it was 256 for some random reason. And now it is not 720, it's 768p for yet another random reason. So I guess it's fine actually. The point is that stream doesn't lag and that Twitch can fully process this streaming itself in terms of information and whatnot. Based on what I understand, probably the bitrate is going to like die incredibly hard when we have to play something good. But I will try to adjust that when that happens. So anyway, right now we're only reading. It's not actually hard. So yeah. Point being, here we are to continue reading the Mahabharata. What is the Mahabharata about? Book about Hindus, I want to say tribes, Hindus, older civilizations, and such. A myth that talks about what used to happen in ancient India, basically. So yeah, is it recommended? I guess I would probably say so. I would. I don't know. I like it. So yeah. We are also on the. I don't think it's like Titanic task, but it's an interesting adventure to try to finish reading this book at some point in history. So we are in page 1973 or 1973. So yeah, at some point we're going to reach the end, which is 7,375. No, 7,035. Sorry. So yeah, we have like we're almost 30% done. I think that should be the proper number. Yeah, being exact, I think it is like 27% or 26, something like that, probably. We are quite close, basically, to reaching yet another major point in the whole progress of the reading experience. So, without actually any other further thing to say, I don't know. I guess, yeah. What I want to see. I hope we can last for like 2 hours or so. It has been so long since the last time that I actually read anything. I haven't. No, only continuing to read stuff. I remember I haven't getting ready for exams. I fucking hate it. But anyway, it's not about me. The point is, we have to read something far more nurturing, more useful for the soul, something like that. So yeah, Mahabharata. Now, let us proceed. We left. Where did we actually leave? Can I? One of the many things that I didn't do was check the context. I don't know what is the context. What are we reading? Let me see. A golden palanquin spread with splendid seats, arriving at the seized. What? Yudhishthira? Ah, okay. This is the story, Yudhishthira, of how Savitri emerged from a desperate plight and took herself, her father and mother, and her father-in-law. Ah, okay. I remember. This is basically this. The whole story, the whole narration was about the tradition as to why not only good people have to suffer bad things, but also particularly in the context of how or why, particularly the instead of the whole. Let me try to make an understandable sense of the narration. What happens inside of the culture that we get to observe in the Mahabharata, that being of the Hindus. What are the Hindus besides Hinduism? I think they aren't Zoroastrians, are they? Let me check that. I hope not. Not that I hope not. I don't actually remember. Are they? No, yeah. That's a different one. That's based on absolutely nothing else. Actually, that one is literally based on Judaism, a continuation of Judaism, so no. Zoroastrians are completely different. That's why also you should not trust me when I talk out stuff. You should check my own sources. I tend to confuse information. But anyway, the point is, the Mahabharata is based on the Hindus religion, which is also based on older conglomerates of religions, which I don't actually remember right now. But the point is, what has to do with us right now is one of the many considerations that they have to do is the process of explaining all the different events that any kind of human has to go through, so that the reasons as to why their existence itself not only gets justified in a logical sense, but also gets to comply with what the gods and the whole pantheon of deities orders in the universe and such. Therefore, in that case, one of the many explanations that needs to be given to the civilization is why, in this particular case, what we were observing, why do not only people who do no bad deeds get punished in their lifetime for no apparent reason, but also particularly why the good women who are considered inside of the Hinduism one of the most, I think it has to do with the operation of the class or something like that. After all, the woman ends up being in a quite different position in all of that culture. It's like by default, the I don't think it is the correct term. The less free or something like that, the less capable of exerting their own liberty, basically. Class that exists inside of their whole structural mode of organization of their societies and such. So, in that case, we end up going to the story as to why, particularly in the Mahabharata, in the previous, what were the previous cantos? The Bhagavad Mahatmya, Parva, and such, an illustration as to how it gets to happen that women might be capable of redeeming themselves and those who are close to them, those who are of a good nature and such, and how can that be understood under the general laws of the universe and such, as to give anyone who asks a proper mode of approaching the question of, okay, is it correct for us to try to endure all of this or not? And that was the previous things that we were exploring. I remember that was the most quote-unquote important things that happened anyways. Besides that, nothing else of much more importance actually was being said. I don't know, the whole narration. That is, I guess, as always, I try to explain it outside of just the story. The text itself was just how inside of the text, it was simply the question of one of the Pandavas, good guys, was asking their, I don't know exactly if it was their monk or who, somebody who has knowledge, why their, or how is it that their female might get to survive the bad encounters that she have had throughout life, due to how she was always an innocent woman and ended up anyways being thrown into the whole turmoil that was the life of the Pandavas, and the narration was simply an example of another female in the past eras that also had to go through similar things. That's the whole actual text, without any other level of interpretation. But after that, what did we actually get to? I think it literally ends with all the other advantages of having read this story, and we literally start a new canto without any other further context. I don't know. I don't actually know what's next, so that's why now for real. Let's begin the actual reading exercise. Canto 298. Kuntala Harana Parva. Haramaya said, O Rahamana, why was Yudhishthira so afraid of Karna that Rishi Lomasa conveyed a message to the son of Pandu from Indra, who promised to remove that fear after Dhanahaya had left, and Sareshta, why was it that the noble Yudhishthira never spoke of his fear to anyone? Vaisampayana said, Rahashardulam, Tiger among kings, listen and I will tell you. After 12 years of their exile have passed and the 13th year has begun, Sagra, who is always a friend of the Pandavas, decides to ask Karna to give him his earrings. Vasu, the son of God, whose world is his light, finds out what Indra intends, great king, and goes to see Karna. Best of kings, one night when that hero, devoted to Brahmanas and truthful in speech, is sleeping peacefully on his luxurious bed, covered by a silken sheet, the radiant Deva, moved by compassion and a father's love, comes to him in a dream. He assumes the form of a handsome Brahmana, learned in the Vedas. Surya says sweetly to Karna, "O best of truthful men, Mahabaho, listen to what I say now, for I speak from affection and for your good. Karna, with the welfare of Pandu's sons in mind, Sagra wants to have your kundalas. He will come to you disguised as a Brahmana. He knows, as all the world does, of your vow that you will always give away anything the pious ask you for, but never demand a thing in return. My son, you give Brahmanas wealth or whatever they ask. Indeed, you never refuse anyone. Indra is well aware of your oath and will come to beg you for your kavacha and kundala as alms. When he asks for the kundalas, you must not give them away, but instead abuse him as best you can, for your own good. When he begs for them, you must deflect him with many excuses, cite various precedents, and refuse him the earrings. Instead, offer Purandara, other kinds of wealth, scents, women, and cattle. Karna, if you give away your golden earrings, which you were born with, your life will be shortened, and you will soon meet your death. Wearing your kavacha and kundala, you're invincible to your enemies in battle. Take what I say to heart. Both your armor and earrings were made from the Amrita of immortality, and you must guard and keep them, if you value your life. Karna says, "Who are you that tells me this, and shows me such kindness? Please tell me, O illustrious one, who you truly are in the guise of a Brahmana." The Brahmana says, "Son, I am the Deva of the thousand rays. I say what I do out of love. Do as I say because it is to save your life that I have come to you." Karna replies, "I am fortunate that the God of splendor is considerate of my welfare and speaks to me. But listen to what I say, for I, too, speak from love. If you love me, you shall not dissuade me from keeping my vow. O Vikavasu, you are rich with the wealth of ebullience. The whole world knows that I have solemnly sworn to give anything, even my life, to a chaste Brahmana who comes to me for alms. If Sakra comes disguised as a Brahmana, to beg so he can benefit the son of Pandu, I will give him my kavacha and kundala, so that my fame, which has spread the three worlds, does not diminish. It is not honorable for me to save my life by breaking my sworn oath. Rather, it is my dharma to die, earning the praise of the worlds, and so I will give Indra my earrings and armor. Besides, if the slayer of Bala and Bridra comes to ask for the Kundala to help the Pandavas, it will enhance my fame and also put Indra to shame. Glorious Suryadeva, I wish for fame and honor in this world, even if it is to be brought with my life, because those who have fame enjoy Swarga, while those who have none are lost. Renown keeps men alive in this world even as a matter does, while dishonor kills them even though they be physically healthy. Lord of the worlds, greatness is the very life of man, as is told in an ancient sloka that Prabhati Brahma himself sang. In the next world his fame supports man, and in this world it lengthens life. So, by giving away my earrings and mail, both of which I was born with, to a Brahmana, according to the laws that govern the giving of gifts, by offering up my body as a gift to the gods, in the sacrifice of war, by doing what is hard to do and conquering my enemies in battle, I will acquire nothing but renown by sparing frightened warriors who web for their lives, and by dispelling the fears of old men, young boys, and brahmanas. I will win the highest fame and attain the loftiest heaven. I will guard my honor even with my life. This I swear. By giving away such a valuable gift to Indra Makhavat, I will become a legend in this world. And that's Canto 293, I think. No, nothing like that. 298. Okay. Okay. That's taking into consideration that I'm not being all that lenient with the reading. I think I can have a more incisive interpretation of the text. I have one at hand, and I think it's once, as always, a preface before actually saying anything. Don't take my word for granted. I might not know anything at all, and I might be utterly wrong, and I might not be the voice that you need to hear. So, anyway, the point is, I guess, based on what I can understand, I think the most apparent interpretation is simply we are talking about who's this guy? Karna. How Karna basically was, in many ways, let me explain it like this. The gods are always used to justify the actions of humans in many cases. Once we are talking about the actions of humans themselves, which in most cases inside of the Mahabharata, it is what we are doing. The whole concept of the realm of the humans particularly doesn't have to do that much with mythological explanations, but rather with human events that get mythified so that they make more sense instead of all of that. Therefore, you have things that apply to the humans that you end up learning about, in this case being Karna, somebody who got mythified as a person that might as well have just given away their most precious value possession to make themselves not only not look bad, not lose face and not fail their own oath, but also to accomplish that other aspect of they had to always give away things to Brahmanas. Therefore, it would have been a contradiction for them to do so under any other circumstance. So the reasonable thing for them is to actually abide by their own word and comply with that. So, in this case, even if they knew that it was going to be bad, it is simpler to say, no, yeah, although I knew I was going to do bad, I was going to put myself at risk. I had a conversation with a god that actually justified me and showed me being morally superior to some degree. That's, I guess, the most basic level of interpretation, the most obvious analysis of, oh no, yeah. Instead, what we are not actually reading so much a conversation between Karna and a deity utilizing an avatar to transform itself and to not directly show itself to Karna, but rather it is the way in which the story of Karna, who ended up losing its own power and its own level of importance throughout the story, or at this point of the narration, who ended up putting itself at risk and its own kingdom at risk, gets justified in itself. The epic elements of the narration. That's, I guess, the most understandable level. The other second, more obvious or less direct one, more as always, trying to interpret it in a different manner of, oh yeah, this might apply to the any person who reads it is the one who does apply the concept to the remembrance. What's the word, or what's the adjective? The lesson to be the reminder. That's the word. The reminder to actually once again abide by one's own word, even if it might not be the best thing to do in terms of how we are going to end up, because unavoidably there are going to be consequences that might as well impact us even negatively. the most useful thing actually is always to accept that we already promised something. So all humans should abide by their own word in terms of, okay, the necessary thing is for us to actually commit to this. What's the expression? To this. It's not a revelation, it's commandment that we have established for ourselves, or this rule that we have strictly abided to or verbally agreed upon. That whole concept of any person who gets to fulfill the rule, even if it might otherwise lead to their own demise, brings far more benefit because we all, while on one hand destroying ourselves, on the other ensure that show how much we're capable of committing to whatever it is that we do. The whole concept of, let's say, like this karma isn't actually what the lesson is about, but rather the concept of anybody who can place themselves in the place of karma is what matters. Understanding that, yeah, anybody has to actually be capable of abiding by the rules and has to be capable of strictly following what they promised, even if it might be somewhat negative. That whole simpler concept is also a direct interpretation that you can have. I don't know what. Is there something else? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I don't have much more to actually say. So before continuing, as always, let me ring something. Let me ring some a little bit. Oh, what? After that, yeah, we continue. But that's the canto 298. Moving on. Canto 299. Kundala Harana Parva continued. Surya says, Surya, Karna, never do anything that is harmful to yourself, your friends, your sons, your wives, your father, or your mother. O best of these earth's creatures, men wish for renown in this world and for lasting fame in heaven, but without having to sacrifice themselves. But you want undying fame at the expense of your very life, and fame will snatch your life from you. Purusarisabha, in this world, the father, the mother, the son, and other kin are useful only to the man who is alive. A king's power is useful to him only as long as he lives. Don't you understand this? Oh, splendid warrior! Fame benefits only those that are alive to enjoy it. Of what use is fame to the dead, whose bodies have been burned to ashes? A dead man cannot enjoy his renown, but only while he lives. The fame of a dead man is like a garland of flowers draped around the neck of a corpse. Because you worship me daily, I tell you this for your good, for I always protect those that worship me. Mahabharata, your worship is profound and inspires my love for you. Do not doubt me, but do as I say. Besides, there is a deep mystery attached to all this, ordained by fate, which is also why I say this to you. You must trust me, O bull among men. You cannot be told this secret, which even the gods do not know. I cannot reveal it to you now, but you will understand it in time. I repeat what I have already said, Radheya. Take my words to your heart. When the wielder of the Vajra asks for them, do not give him your Kundala. Ah, with your shimmering earrings, you look so radiant, like the moon himself in the clear sky, amidst the stars of the Visakha Nakshatra. You know that fame helps only he that is living. When the king of the Devas asks for the earrings, you shall refuse him, my son. Repeat over and over different explanations for your refusing him. And in that way, Anagha, you will be rid of Indra's eagerness to have the Kundala. Using pleasant and subtle arguments, Karna removed his desire with the reasoning of grave import. Oh, tiger among men, You always taunt and challenge the ambidextrous Sabyasachi, and you will undoubtedly meet him in battle. As long as you wear your Kundala, Arjuna can never vanquish you, even if Indra himself comes to help him. Karna, if you want to kill Arjuna, you must never give these exquisite earrings of yours to Sakra, sorry. Yeah, that's Canto 299. I guess I have an interpretation, but it is quite contingent on the next canto actually. Let me see. It's mostly related to this end, I guess. Is there something else? Let me try to see. I don't actually know. I think there is one other thing that can be of weight. That is the whole explanation as to why in itself the act of being capable of committing to one's own word, even if it costs the life of the person who decides to not abandon themselves, is such that they actually lose their own life. Why is that so important? Has a second layer to it. I think it also has to do. I don't want to guess so much, but based on what I have remember we have already read and such, and not only inside of the context of the Mahabharata in particular, implying that we haven't read about it, it's the whole thing of this. I think it's an important part is this actually. This concept is, on one hand, a reasonable explanation as to why one person gets to enjoy their fame for themselves. There is the whole rest of the explanations that have to do with the reasonableness and with the affiliation to one's own world and the commitment to what gets stated by oneself in the whole concept, particularly even more so taking into consideration what has to do with the whole karmic will, taking as in Mahabharata. Once again, we are talking about Hinduism, particularly the whole concept of people who gets to reincarnate and the different reincarnations that everybody has to go through, even if it isn't particularly other human beings in your next reincarnation in itself, that you get to be reincarnated into the world as a different type of being. What matters is you are still yourself and you carry some part of that with you. One of the most important things that I do remember is the whole concept of Adhyarma, I think it is, the greater degree of affiliation with the proper, what we used to call in the Western cultures, the whole goodness and such, understanding that in some cases it isn't what particularly matters, the fame, but rather the good action, in this case, to show that one is capable of abiding by their own word, even if it costs them their life, is more important than to try to aspire to a little bit of fame on this current life. Now, I guess, just to state it a little bit before I actually forget about it, there is this whole other concept that I'm pretty sure in next canto we're going to see if it is like that, but it also has to do with the realization of the person that what matters more is the commitment to this same thing. What matters to a human being is not actually having fame only for as long as they are alive, then fading into nothingness, but rather the whole other aspect of I can make the life of everyone else around me also better or easier, so to speak, by ensuring that I get to be renowned in some way. That whole thing of everlasting fame throughout the world and being unavoidably worldwide known as somebody who did something important. That whole being eternalized through the memory of waters, that whole concept that has to do with the proper right of fame, that doesn't come unless you do something important enough that has to actually transcend your own self to some degree. So in cases like this one, unavoidably the reason is, yeah, the person finally gets to understand the degree of importance that it has for themselves to not be so much only focused on what is their own life in the void of all things, but rather the whole rest of concepts or the whole rest of entangled relationships of other existences that are also relying on oneself. In this case, if the Pandavas, a quick explanation, if the Pandavas, who at the end are always sort of the good people, get to benefit from this action, therefore it might as well also be a good action in itself to give up something, even if it conducts to the loss of a life in the short run, so to speak. In the long run, it creates a wave effect in which other people are greatly benefited for something that is in itself good. So that is, although from a personal perspective, particularly Karna is already somebody who had a sort of allegiance to vengeance with the Pandavas and such. Even if that is the case, the reality is, okay, it doesn't matter. Actually, what matters is something good enough that can be of a valuable enough importance in the world, so that one thing is what creates an impact on the rest of the reality. And yeah, that's in itself, therefore, the same concept here, implying that that is the interpretation that we get next, maybe. Once again, that's what I am implying is going to happen. I don't know actually what is going to be said here. Perhaps Karna says, oh no, yeah, you know what? You have actually changed my heart, Lord. So, let's see, continue to read. Yeah, continue. I will drink next. Canto 300. Kundala Harana Parva continued. Karna says, Lord of Splendor, knowing me as one who worships you, you also know that there is nothing I will not give away as dana in charity. Not my wives, and my friends, and my sons, and my own self are as dear to me as you, because of the adoration I have for you. You know, maker of light, that exalted beings love their worshippers dearly. Thinking, Karna is my faithful devotee and is dear to me, and he knows no other god in heaven. You have told me what you think is good for me, a fulsome one. Again I beseech you with bended head. Once more I place myself in your hands, and I repeat the response I have already given you. I beg you, forgive me for refusing to do what you ask. Death itself is not fraught with such terror for me as to break my bow. Especially when it comes to Brahmanas, I do not hesitate to give even my life for them. Oh, Deva, I understand what you have said to me about Falguna. Shed your anxiety about him. I will conquer Arjuna in battle. Hamadarni and Drona have both given me weapons of great power. Permit me now, Devotama, to adhere to my Vrata, so that to him of the Vajara coming to beg of me, I may give even my life. Surya says, if my son of the might is trained, you give your Kundala to the Bhagaratkari to ensure victory, you must take him of the 100 sacrifices that you will give him the earrings on a condition. Remember that with these earrings you are invincible to one and all. It is to see you killed in battle by Arjuna that the enemy of the Danavas wishes to take your earrings away from you. Adulate Indra with truthful words, praise Purandara who has irresistible weapons, and plead with him, saying, Give me an infallible astra, which can slay any enemy, and I will, oh those and I, Lord, give you my Kavacha and Kundala. Only on this condition should you give the earrings to Sakara. With that astra, Karna, you will slay your enemies in battle. Makavaho, that singular weapon of the Lord of Devas does not return to the hand that casts it without killing enemies by the hundreds and thousands. The Lord of the Thousand Rays vanishes. The next day, after his prayers, Karna relates his dream to Suryadeva and tells him all that passed between them in the night. After hearing everything, that enemy of this Varhanu, the resplendent and divine Surya, says to Karna, with a smile, that is so. And Radha's son, the slayer of hostile heroes, knowing his dream to be true and wanting to have Indra Sastra, waits for Basava. Okay, that's understandable enough, I guess. That's also, yeah, I can do 300. So, yeah, I have to assume. I don't know. We can try to make like way too much of a weirder interpretation, I guess, something like that. Also, welcome Spike. I hope you're doing well. I hope everything is going fine. Welcome. Good evening. But so far, based on what I understand, not only what I said before of, yeah, this guy to some degree understands the necessity to sometimes actually give up your life for what matters. I don't know how much of this interpretation has become incorrect to some degree. What's the concept? How does this guy call them? Aberrant decoding, perhaps. Perhaps it is one of those at this point in time. The point itself is, besides that, perhaps, take into consideration that as always, but it might also as well anyways have to do with, I already tried to add before to some degree the layer of interpretation of perhaps. Perhaps Karna is somebody who understands the necessity to give his life up for something of greater importance. There is also another layer, which could be implied, and that is the necessity to sometimes be capable of forgiving your enemies and accepting that sometimes it is necessary for you to surrender to them, even if it might lead to your demise. Because in the end, what matters is the survival of the whole species, not the survival of the strongest. Although your ego itself will require such a thing, the whole concept of not the strongest is always the one that needs to. What's the word? To last. But rather, the one that needs to last is the correct king, so to speak. Even more in the whole battle for the best occupier of the throne and such. Of even more, once again, in the Mahabharata, it's like kings of the entire world. So it's understandable that the concession would be okay. Perhaps the Pandavas are better than me. Perhaps it's better for me to sacrifice myself, and perhaps if we talk about it in this way, I might end up being a good person in the end, because I was capable of giving myself up for the greater good, quote unquote. That's a possible interpretation. Once again, that might as well be way too distant. The easier one is still, what matters is to be capable of committing to the promises that we make to ourselves and to the rest. In this case being, I will give myself, or I will give anything of myself to Brahmanas for the sake of showing that I want to actually provide to those who have less. And that is literally anything. It doesn't matter what it is, even if it costs me my life. What Karna said before. And to never back down from those statements. In the end, the quality of a person is also based pretty much on what we say and what we are capable of proving with our own actions. So if we don't have the capacity to abide by our own words, then what else actually matters? If, in the end, what separates us the most from the rest of the animals is what we say and what we think, which is all, in the end, in itself, comprised of language. So something like that, basically. Yeah, I guess. But I don't know. Everything is like way too much of a distant interpretation of this point. Continuing. Yeah, come to 301. No, no. Let me drink water actually. Okay, now for you. Canto 301. Kundala Harana Barwa continued. Hanamehaya said, what was the secret that the Lord of the Fiery Race would not tell Karna? What were the Kavach and Kundala like? From where did the armor and those earrings come? I want to hear all this. Oh, you of the mighty austerities, tell me everything. Vaisambhayana said, Rahan, I will tell you the secret which the Lord of the World and Radiance does not reveal. I will also describe to you that coat of mail and those earrings. A long time ago, there appeared before Kuntimphosa a Brahmana of fierce Texas. He was tall, with a beard and matted locks, and he carried a staff in his hand. He was handsome. His form was perfect and blazed in splendor. He had honey-colored yellowish blue skin, and his voice was melodious. He shone with Tapasya Shakti and Vedagyana. This person said to Kuntibhusa, oh, you who are free of pride, I will live as a guest in your house, it important to give me as alms. Neither you nor your people must ever displease or anger me. If an Anagha this suits you, I will live in your house in this way. I will come and go as I wish, and no one shall disturb me when I am eating or sleeping. Kuntibhosa cheerfully agreed and said, that us too, so be it. And even more, wise one, I have an illustrious daughter named Brita. She has an excellent character. She observes vows, is chaste, and of subdued senses. She will attend on you and take care of you with all reverence. You will be pleased with her disposition. Having said this to that Brahmana and paid him homage, the king went to his daughter Parita of the large eyes and said to her, my daughter, this eminent Brahmana wishes to live in our house. I have agreed, my child, and I count on your skills in caring for 4 Brahmanas. You must look after him with honor and reverence. To keep my word, be prompt in giving this venerable one, who is engaged in the deep study of the Vedas, whatever he may want. Cheerfully give him everything he asks for. Brahmana is the embodiment of the highest tejas and also of the highest punya. It is because of the tapasya of Brahmanas that the sun shines in the heavens. It is because of their cruelty and disrespect to Brahmanas that the Asuras, Batapi, and Talhankya were killed by the curses of the holy ones. And now, my child, I am entrusting the care of a most virtuous Brahmana to you. You must always attend on him with the utmost care. Daughter, I know that since your childhood you have always been attentive to Brahmanas, elders, relatives, servants, and friends, and to your mother and me. I know how exemplary your conduct is, how you give due respect to all the deserving. My faultless one, because of your gentleness, there is not one person in the Antapuram of my palace, or even one among the servants, who is displeased with you. That is why I saw fit to have you wait upon the short-tempered Brahmana. Rita, you are still a girl, and you are my adopted daughter. You were born in the house of the Brishnis, and you were Shura's favorite daughter. Your father himself gladly gave you to me because I had no child of my own. You're the natural sister of Vasudeva, and, by adoption, the fairest of my daughters. Your father promised me his firstborn child, and gave you to me when you were just a baby. And now you are my daughter, born into a noble line and raised in one. You have come from one royal house to another, like a lotus taken from one lake to another. My beautiful child, despite being disciplined with difficulty, low-born women develop perverted characters because their hearts are immature. But you are born in a royal race and you are extraordinarily lovely. You are graced with every accomplishment. Renounce pride, hatred, and self-importance, and worshipfully wait upon the boon-giving Brahmana, and you will be blessed, Parita, and surely attain the realms of bliss. If, however, you provoke the anger of the Dvikotama, he will destroy my entire race. That's that's Canto 301. That's it. That's it. That's it. Wow. so profound, brother. No, I think the text is not all that complicated. The founding myth as to how Karna came to be and why he is blessed, and also why he has the particular qualities that he gets to have. I'm pretty sure also we have already read this story at some point previously in the story. It's one of those narrations that get retold time and time again. I think it has to do with the only contribution that I can make is based on what I understand, the way in which these things not only get repeated but are forcefully repeated is because they need to actually be repeated. In a sense, it's necessary for us to get not just reminded, but have different instances of the same story being told, even if it is from similar points of view or literally the same point of view, just to have it inscripted on different areas so that it can be always recalled properly. If one of the versions gets lost, they all get compared with one another until they all match enough. That's the concept behind why some stories are time and time again found inside of the Mahabharata. Like, I don't know. I think the whole concept, for example, of how the Mahatman came to create the world, or how the Atman is the one dreaming the whole universe, why such things are also so repeated. The whole concept of, particularly based on what I understand, these big narrations that need to be called to memory, they are easier to call to memory if you memorize, once again, cantos, tiny cantos, not the literal entire Mahabharata. Not even trying to be cautious with the words. Perhaps only the most proper Brahmanas and the most learned yogis are capable of recollecting the entire Mahabharata by memory without ever misremembering any one detail. But the average person needs to have the capacity to transmit orally stories as this one by at least having the capacity to break it down to tiny, memorable chapters like this one. In this case, called cantos. So yeah, that's why we end up finding again and again the story as to why Karna is sacred in this case. I mean, trying to actually remember, I think it was like 30, 40, at the best, I don't know, 70 or so cantos that we read out Karna. That's why I say I'm pretty sure. It's not that I am pretty sure, I cannot exactly tell you in which one, but we already talk about why Karna is important, and why Karna is also of a sacred lineage, and why he in particular is so gifted and such. But anyway, continuing. Because yeah, the conclusion so far isn't that much apparent. We need to keep on reading to read any other conclusion of actual importance. So, moving on. Oh, let me drink some water before actually moving. "302. Kundala Harana Parva continued. Kunti said, Kunti, Father, I will keep your promise and serve the Brahmana with devotion. Foremost of kings, those are not empty words. It is my nature to worship Brahmanas, and because in this case my doing so will please you, it will surely lead me to good fortune, whether that worshipful one comes in the morning, evening, or at night, even at midnight. I will not give him cause for anger. I both benefit and derive joy from serving the twice-born ones and obeying all your commands. Dispel your anxiety. You can rely on me. Truly, that waste of Brahmanas shall never have cause for dissatisfaction while living in your house. I will pay particular attention to what pleases the Brahmana, and also to what will bring Punya and his blessings upon you. Anagha, and know full well that when pleased, such eminent Brahmanas bestow even moksha, but when offended, they can destroy the one who offends them. I will take great care to please these best among Brahmanas. You will not come to grief from him through any fault of mine. The hubris of kings resulted in Brahmanas bringing about their downfall. This is what happened with Jabana as a result of what Sukanya did. Father, as you wish, I will diligently serve the Brahmanottama. After she had spoken at length to reassure the king, he embraced her and gave her detailed instructions about her duties towards the Brahmana. And the king said, "You will conduct yourself in this way, gentle one, without fear, for my good as well as your own, and for the good of our dynasty, my perfect limbed child." Saying this, the noble Kunti Bhoja, who was devoted to Brahmanas, brought Brita to that Brahmana and said, "This is my daughter, O Dvika. She is very young and accustomed to luxury. Make allowances for her if she makes any mistake. Great Brahmanas are never angry with old men, children, and ascetics, even if these frequently err. Even a serious wrongdoing deserves forgiveness from a Brahmana. Brahmanottama, you must accept the best worship and service that my child is able to offer you." The Brahmana said, "So be it," and the happy king showed him to his apartments, that were bright and white, like sundown or moonbeams. In the young sala, the king placed a grand throne that had been specially made for the Brahmana. The food and everything else that he provided were equally excellent, and casting aside idleness and self-importance, the princess devoted herself with all goodwill to serving the Brahmana. And the chaste Kunti of the pure character moved to these apartments to wait upon the sage, serving him faithfully as if he was a deva. She made him happy indeed. Was that weekend to 200, 302, I think? Yeah, 302. Any other concept? I don't know. Is there is anything actually to say? The whole renovation of the fate of the not it's a simple relationship. The whole fate of the children to the care of the father, the concept of being able of following your father's directions and such, that's basic enough. The father, in this case, una voce literal titles like being a king, being an important person, blah blah blah. That doesn't matter. What matters is the father itself is the one who is commanding her children to do something. The children is capable of following that, therefore the consequences are going to be equal. The, I guess, implied message ends up being unavoidably any kid who is capable of following such commands will gain great things. In this case, more so, I guess, because that which you are following, as long as it is in accordance with the greater good, as it is also being defined here, because the Brahmana is one of the forces of nature which are in themselves incredibly not just important, but karma inducers and generators of grantors of boon. I think that is the proper title. Because you are also complying with all of that. You also ensure greatness to your whole lineage and such. So that's the underlying message, but as always, that's sort of obvious. No, I don't know if we have to actually waste that much time to define it as such. The obviousness is, oh no, yeah, because who is it? What's Kunti? Yeah, because Kunti says, "I'm going to do what you say." Then great things happen to them. Therefore, unavoidably, Karna gets born with so many gifts. Wow. So, moving on. I guess, how much have we actually been going? An hour and 14. Okay, let's do, I think, 2 more cantos or so, probably. And after that, I will take a break to try and get some more water. I actually ran out already. So yeah, that's our next stop. until 300, no, 303, 304, 305. I want to have their analysis, but after that, probably a tiny break or something. But anyway, continuing, moving on. Canto 303. Kundala Harana Parva continued. Vasampayana continued. That young princess of the rigid vows succeeded in pleasing the Brahmana by serving him devotedly, foremost of kings, sometimes saying he will be back in the morning, he will return in the evening or at night. Regardless, the girl worshipped him at all hours with offerings of delicious food and drink, and a comfortably made bed. Days passed and her attention to his needs only grew instead of diminishing, even when the Brahmana reproved her, finding faults with any of her arrangements, at times speaking harshly. Brita never showed any displeasure or did anything that was disagreeable to him. On many occasions, the Brahmana came after the appointed hour had long passed, and on others, in the dead of night, when it was difficult to serve him food, he would demand a meal. At all those times, Brita would give him whatever he asked for, like Asisha, daughter or younger sister, that blemishless jewel of a girl devotedly served as Brahmana, who was pleased with her conduct and caring attention, and he valued her service highly. Mahabharata, every morning her father asked if the Brahmana was happy with her ministrations, and every day the girl replied that he was, and at that the noble Kunti was delighted. A whole year went by without that Muni being able to find any fault with Brita. One day he said to her, "Gentle maiden, I am pleased with you. Oh, lovely girl, blessed one, ask me for boons that are difficult for people of this world to obtain, which will make you more famous than all the women on earth." Kunti said, "I have everything I want because I have made you, who are learning the Vedas, happy, and my father is pleased with me. I consider every boon I could wish for as having already been given to me. Oh, Brahmana?" The Brahmana said, "Sushila of the sweet smiles, if you do not want any boon from me, let me give you this mantra to invoke the Devas. Any of the gods whom you call by, chanting this mantra, will appear before you, and do as you tell them. Willing or not, by virtue of this mantra, the particular deity will become your meek and obedient slave under your control." That faultless princess could not, for fear of incurring a quarrels, refuse the Brahmana a second time. O king, the Brahmana taught the girl of the tender limbs the invocations that are recited in the beginning of the Atharva Veda. Then he said to Kunti, "Rahan, I have lived happily in your house, always worshipped and lovingly cared for by your daughter. I am going now." And saying this, he vanished from where he stood, leaving the king amazed. Kunti praised his daughter Prita and looked on her with even more affection. Yeah, that's Canto 303. Well, I guess sometimes it's not so hard to actually understand what is going to be said and such. I have already, to some degree, explained what is going to happen, the capacity to follow the rules that you're given and such, and even in, I guess, the proper particular context of this is, no matter how many complicated hardships we have to go through, as long as we're capable of following the proper faith that is imposed on us, and as long as we're capable of enforcing through those harshest of situations, as long as the karma that comes towards us at the end of those harsh times is good enough, there is no proper justification for us to actually give up on any pursuit that we are on right now. That's the final concept in itself that is tried to be encapsulated inside of what happens to Kunti and such. I guess to some degree, it isn't exactly confusing, but rather difficult to properly read why she's not capable of asking for any boon. I would assume, having to assume something, I would assume that it has to do with how she. I have already found it before. The whole concept of the female inside of the societies and such. There is no commonly. They don't have the right to actually ask for anything that important. Therefore, it's far more understandable that she will not have gone out of her own way to try and actually try to get any boon out of the Brahmana. So, it doesn't fully suffice as a reason as to why the Brahmana imposes still a boon, but rather it is with enough reason as to why she is given one without her asking for one directly. Something like that, I guess. But besides that, I don't know. I don't think there is much more here. We are actually, yeah, more than anything else, was reading out the weird story or the foundational myth of Karna, not of Kunti and such. So that's what matters the most, and I guess that's next, not this. The whole, but yeah, I mean, I am incredibly capable of remembering that particular part. It's one of the earliest readings I think that we did. The whole process of how Kunti called on the deities and she was given so many not benefits, but rather boons by the gods themselves onto her child and such, and that is why Karna is so blessed with so many great things and such. Anyway, moving on. Canto 304. Kundala Harana Parva continued. By Sampayana said, one day, after that great Brahmana had gone, the young Kunti began to think about the efficacy of mantras she had learned, and she said to herself, I wonder what the mantras that the Mahatman taught me can achieve. Let me chant them now and discover for myself. Even as she thought of this, she noted the signs in her body that signaled the onset of puberty. She saw that she was menstruating. She was in her room, sitting on her luxurious bed, as she saw the sun rising in the eastern sky. Her eyes and her mind were riveted on Surya, pulsing with light, and the slender girl gazed at him in fascination and could not tear her eyes away from the beauty of the sun at dawn. Hardly aware of what she did, she murmured the mantra the Brahmana had taught her. Suddenly, a celestial vision appeared within her, and she saw, with her inner eye, the sun embodied in a divine form, wearing blazing kavacha and kundala. At the sight of Suryadeva, her curiosity to test the mantra was aroused, and she decided to try it on him. First, she went through her pranayama and then invoked the maker of day. Instantly, he presented himself before her. His skin was golden like honey, his arms were powerful, his neck was marked with lines as on a conch shell. He wore glittering bracelets on his arms and a crown on his head. And he came to her, smiling and lighting up the chamber with his brilliance. With his yogic power he divided himself, setting to one side his burning half and the other part of him standing before her. He addressed Kunti in sweet words. The Deva said, Gentle one, I am bound by your mantra, and I have come to you in obedience. I am yours to do whatever you command, princess. Tell me what you will have me do. Kunti said nervously, Worshipful one, you may go back to where you came from. It is only from curiosity that I invoked you. Forgive me, Lord. Surya said, Oh, slender wasted, I will return to where I have come from, as you command. However, you may not invoke a deva in vain. Graceful one, your heart's intention was to have a son from Surya, a splendid son, born with Kavach and Kundala, and with incomparable prowess. Give yourself to me, maiden with the swaying gait of a she-elephant. You shall have a son, just as you wished for. Gentle girl of the sweet smiles, I will go back only after enjoying you. If you do not gratify me today, I will curse you in anger and your father and that Brahmana as well. I will consume them all, and you will be to blame. I will exact retribution from your foolish father, who knows nothing of your wrongdoing, and from that Brahmana who bestowed mantras on you without knowing your true character. Purandara and all the devas are watching me, and they laugh at me for having been deceived by you. Look, you can see them with your celestial vision, which I gave you so that you would be able to see me. The Virgin Princess saw that I was standing in the heavens, eating his proper place, and in front of her was the resplendent Surya Deva of the blinding rays. The girl was frightened when she saw them all, and she blushed in mortification. She said to Surya, "Oh, Lord of Light, please return to your own place. I am horrified at the outrage you propose, for I am still a maiden. Only a father, a mother, and other elders can give their daughter's body away. I will not sacrifice my virtue. Chastity is a woman's highest dharma. Oh, splendid one, I called you because I was childishly eager to test the mantras. Consider that this is the act of a girl of tender years. You must forgive me, Lord." Surya said, "Kunti, it is only because you are a young girl that I am speaking so gently to you. I will not make such concession to anyone else. Surrender, Kunti. You will be happy, because you have summoned me with mantras, perfectly one. I cannot live without achieving my purpose, for if I do, I will be the laughing stock of the world and ridiculed by the devas. Give in to me, you will have a son in my image, and you will be praised by the whole world." That's Canto 304. The story got like way too intense. It was like the whole meme of 0 to 100 out of nowhere. Anyway, wasn't expecting that, I guess. Certainly a different recollection of events from what I remember. I remember having heard about it before. I don't know if it was this intense before. Anyway, makes sense, yes. I don't know. Moving on, yes. Anyway, Canto 305. Dalla cara non parla continua. By Sampayan aside, try as she might, speaking sweet, Lady Princess could not dissuade the of the thousand rays. Afraid of a course, she began to reflect on what she ought to do. She thought, how can my innocent father and that Brahmana be saved from the angry Bhikavasa's curse, from which I am to blame? Although Tejas and Tapasya can destroy sins, even honest people should avoid them, particularly if they are young. Because of my youthful folly, I am in a terrible predicament. I have put myself in the hands of this Deva, yet how can I do what is wrong by giving in to him? Racked by the fear of his curse, and by her own anxiety, a languid torpor crept over her. She was so confused that she did not know what to do, afraid, on the one hand, of the reproach of her loved ones if she yielded to the deity, and on the other of his curse if she did not. At last the girl said to the devas in a voice trembling and sighing, "Oh Lord, as my father and mother and my friends are still living, I cannot violate my dharma. If I commit this sin with you, I will sacrifice the honor of this family. If all first among her givers you consider this union to be worthy, I will give myself to you, even though my family has not bestowed me. By the truth that every being's virtue, reputation, fame, and life are established in you, may I remain chaste after having surrendered my body to you." Surya replied, "Neither your father, nor your mother, nor any of your elders has tried to give you away. Blessings be upon you, beautiful girl. Listen to me. The word Kanya is derived from the root Kama, which means desire, and it is used to denote a virgin because she desires everyone. Therefore, lovely hipped one of the finest complexion, a virgin is free to do as she pleases. You will not in any way be committing a sin by giving what I ask. Would I, who am devoted to the well-being of all creatures, ever do anything that violates Dharma? Nature's laws dictates that men and women shall not be bound by any restraints. Anything to the contrary is a perversion of nature. You shall remain a virgin even after having gratified me, and your son shall be illustrious." Gandhi said, "If, O destroyer of darkness, I have a son from you, grant that he is born with Kavach and Kundala, and that he is mighty, armed, and great." Surya answered, "Gentle princess, your son shall indeed be mighty armed, and decked with divine Kavach and Kundala. His armor will be invulnerable, and his earrings made of Amrita." Kunti said, "If the armor and earrings of the son you will have with me are truly made of Amrita, then fulfill your desire, O Deva. May my son be powerful, strong, vigorous, and beautiful like you, and may he be blessed with virtue." Surya said, "Noble girl, these Kundala were a gift to me from Aditi. Timid one, I will bestow them and this wonderful armor on your son." Kunti then acquiesced, "O Lord of Light, if I have such a son, I will do as you say, and satisfy your desire. Suryadeva said, Tatastu, and that sky ranger, the enemy of Svarabhanu, with his soul absorbed in yoga, entered into Kunti and touched her on her navel. Immediately, she lost consciousness and fell onto her bed. Surya said to her, I leave you now, you of the graceful hips. You shall give birth to a son who will become the best of all warriors, and you shall remain a virgin. Then Raharahan, as the blazing Deva was about to leave, the girl bashfully whispered to him in her son, So be it. It was thus that the daughter of King Kuntiphodsa, having invoked Surya and then asked for a son, fell down in a stupor on her bed, like a broken creeper. And it was thus that, after stupefying her, the god of fierce rays entered into her throat. The power of his yoga and impregnated her without breaking her personal seal and dishonoring her. When Surya had gone, the young girl regained consciousness. That's Canto 305, and that's what I. Anyway, what I promised that I was going to take a break, but before doing so, after. Yeah, I guess before actually doing so, otherwise I would probably forget what I had to say. I don't know, I think the most important annotation to make out of this, I have already. I wouldn't say announced that it was going to happen, that we were going to finally encounter this whole narration about this guy being the deity which is in charge of particularly taking care of the deity, and how the god takes care of making sure that the child is born, and how the founding myth of Karna comes to be and such. Okay, not only that, which is here, but also the other, I guess one of the many other narrations, the whole concept of how women of perfection come to have children, something like that. The same, I don't actually remember. It's like the pure. It's a recurring theme in any sacred text that you find. Different narrations about the perfect maiden or something like that. Similar as with Virgin Mary, basically. Implying that this the name. I don't actually remember. Once again, please remember, I am ESL. I didn't read the Bible on English. I assume that it is Mary, the mother of Christ. Maybe it is literally Maria. I don't know. The point is, yeah, the concept of a woman who gives birth to a child and keeps her. What's it's something along the lines of not just the most obvious physical level of recognition, but it's like their sanctity, their innocence, something like that, by remaining pure. That other level of understanding about why it seems to have an importance in all of that. It's like an important level of how the whole lineage has things that show how they are actually, or yeah, the whole lineage itself is doing something great, or how the concept ends up being that this person gets granted more boons. Inside of the Mahabharata language, it's something along the lines of the boon of the sanctity of oneself, to demonstrate that literally everything was done so correctly that there was no other sacrifice, or no other loss to be done in the way, in this case during the conception of the children, something like that. That just doesn't just justify the birth of a child, but also demonstrates the purity of the mother itself, which also, in response, ends up allowing the understanding of the greater narration of, yeah, this is indeed quite an important figure in the whole story, as in, this is somebody who actually has a lot of, I wouldn't say power, that's like a way too basic, It's has a lot of importance, something like that, just because their whole story and how they came to be also demonstrates that and carries with them that whole other level of understanding of, yeah, literally everything with them is fine. So that's that's the other aspect of that, yeah. Besides that, no, not nothing else actually. The rest was just the whole discussion between her finally giving in to the god and such, and not much. I mean, yeah, I know. Anyway, as I said, that's for now. As I said, let me take a break, and also let me script. Let me start this clock, even if the break is not going to be 8 minutes long. Let me start it so that at least there is something going on the screen besides the GIF. Thank you. I remember that song. It was like chippy chippy chapa chapa. Boom 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 boom. Anyway, welcome back. Uh, what did we leave? Cancel 306. Yeah. I should actually change scene, no? I I should do that. But let me. I never closed. I was studying something else. I never closed that tab. I was studying two different things. I didn't close any of them. I don't know. I still have some habits that I shouldn't actually change in this case. No. The opposite. I should change. I don't need to actually close everything down. The PC can run it, so I don't need to close them. But let me as a quick snack. They are what am I right now? Am I finishing human, subhuman, and a course on what is this? Anthropology by somebody, some guy on Yale, I think it is. Anyway, the point is, let's continue. Doesn't have anything to do with this. It's just to actually say it instead of, I don't know. Sometimes I realize I say way too much things, too much stuff, and never actually talk about it properly. So it's like, oh yeah, I am doing something. What the fuck is he doing? Is he literally fucking, I don't know, watching paint dry? What the fuck are you doing, bro? I don't know. Anyway, the point is continuing. Welcome back. What a wonderful break. And yeah, I got my water. I took my idle break for a second there. So, also, no, wait, can you see this? If I open this, you can see that? Yeah, you can see it actually. That thing. Sometimes it's wonderful. Learning to use that has been a blessing in my life. Finally getting to control a little bit more. Sometimes people never actually balance the audio of their stuff, and it's not so interesting to actually try to get your audio to 3 times the normal volume just to watch one video or to hear one person say something. I think that's a better addition than to literally have to increase everything else. But I think still there is something in the lines of how, what is it? How, if I'm not wrong, how decibels work? That it has like a, let me see, implying that you can see the extension. Let me see. Can you see it actually? You can see the extension. It's like me having a schizophrenia episode trying to talk about it. The extension, volume controller extension, that one. The what's the name? Volume master. Volume manager. I think it is in English, something like that. Volume master is the generic name, the name of the app itself. The second part, I don't know. Translate controller de volumen to English. But yeah, the point is that thing works wondrous. Allows you to hear things better because you don't have to actually waste so much of your energy on having to increase the volume just for one video. You can actually do it inside of the video. Or not exactly inside of the video, inside of the tab, but that's better than to have to increase the overall volume of the PC. And rebalance everything else in the way, but the other observation I was trying to do is, yeah, it has a quote-unquote weird. It's just from 100 to 800 volume increase. No, 600 volume increase. Which in decibels isn't that much. I think in decibels it's like 5 decibels, 6 decibels perhaps, something like that. So it's not much. If things are really incredibly low, who knows? But anyway, continuing. We are on Canto 306 con la Jarana Barba, so we shall continue. Yeah, nothing else to add. But Sampayana said, Lord of the Earth, Brita's son was conceived on the first day of the right fortnight, in the 10th month of the year, carrying a child as radiant as the Lord of the Stars. The maiden of the shapely hips hid her pregnancy from fear of disapproval, and no one knew of her condition, living as she did in a various prince's apartments and using all her guile to carefully conceal her condition. Only her nursemaid knew the truth. In due time, and by the grace of Suryadeva, the young Kunti gave birth to a godlike son. The baby was clad, like his father, in a coat of mail and adorned with glittering earrings. His eyes were tawny like a lion's, and his shoulders were broad like a bull's. As soon as he was born, with the help of her nurse, Kunti placed the infant in a spacious and smooth wicker basket, cushioned with silk sheets and a soft pillow. They coated it with wax so it would not sink, and wrapped it in a rich cover. Then, with tears in her eyes, Kunti carried her baby to the river Aswa and set the basket upon the current. She knew that an unwed girl shall not have a child, yet she wept piteously as her son was about to be borne away by the river. Listen to what she said as she surrendered the precious basket to the Aswa. My child, May all who live on this earth, on land, in water, in the sky, and in the heavens, do good to you. May all your paths be blessed. May you face no obstacles, my son. May all whom you meet be your friends and bear you no enmity. May that Lord of all waters, Varuna, protect you in the water. May the Deva that wanders the sky protect you in the sky. May Suryadeva, first of heat givers, your father who gave you to me through destiny, protect you everywhere. May the Adityas and the Vasus, the Rudras and the Satyas, the Biswas, the Devas and the Maruts, the cardinal points with the great Indra and their guardian presiding over them, and all the heavenly ones protect you wherever you may be. I will recognize you by your Kavacha and Kundala. Your father, the glorious Suryadeva, is fortunate indeed, for with his celestial vision he will watch over you as you float down the river. Blessed also is that woman who will, oh Devaputra, take you for her son, and who will give you her breast when you are hungry. What are dreams she has dreamed, that woman who adopts you, who are as splendid as the sun, who wear divine armor and earrings, with your lotus eyes and skin as lustrous as burnished copper, your lofty, powerful brow and hair ending in silk curls. Lucky is the woman who will see you crawl on the ground, covered in mud, and uttering the sweetest inarticulate words of infancy. Blessed is she who will see you reach manhood like a manned Himalayan lion. Also, what? Wish I had a Devaputra in my life. So, Tron, welcome, Silver Lightning, yeah. Margonti ran Prita carried over the basket for a long time before she set it afloat down the Aswa. In the dead of night, with only her nursemaid beside her, though she longed to keep standing there forever. She was afraid that her father might discover what had happened, and she returned to the palace. Meanwhile, the basket floated down the Aswa to the river Charmangwati, and from the Charmangwati to the Yamuna, and then on to the Ganga. Borne by the Ganga, the basket came at down to the city of Champa, which was ruled by a Sutta, a Satyajir. The wonderful coat of mail and earrings made of Amrita and destiny kept the child safe and alive. And I guess that's the most, sorry, that's Canto 306. That's the most important aspect of this whole narration, this thing. How this guy came to have his armor, the coat of mail and earrings, which is the particular point that we are considering as to why this whole narration started, basically. But yeah, that's, I guess it's nothing else actually. So yeah. Besides that, I don't know. The instincts of a matter are that important to actually define. I guess it's understandable, unavoidably any human woman who has a child and any normal woman who has a child has to suffer if they have to depart from it. I don't think I need to actually define why it is so understandable that we have to read about Kunti suffering because she has to let her child go. I don't know. I don't think una buena the only analysis that I can make is something along the lines of even more taking into consideration that this has all to do with gods and such. Why did Kunti never explain it to her father and such? And how it never came to be that this whole story got accepted and the child sort of inherited a far more important position in the end still. Karna is important in the story, as in is a king and whatnot anyways, so it doesn't necessarily lead to any bad conclusion how the child grows up and such, but I don't know. I think it could have had a different direction, I guess. But yeah, probably I don't actually understand that much the nuances of why, no matter how much a god has interfered for things to be this way, it is still bad that all of this happened, you know? All of this came to be. And anyways, is I guess probably the prospect of particularly Kunti invoking the sun god without understanding what she was doing is the thing that needed to be kept hidden. That's why that particular aspect never came to be discussed later on. I guess that's the only explanation I can give it as to why it didn't have a different endings, something like that, I guess. But that's more like a literal, as in the literary analysis of the text. So anyway, moving on. Also, yeah, I hope you're doing well, Silver. Welcome. Continuing. No, see, yeah. Before continuing, actually, let me drink water as always. Continuing. Yeah, for real. 307. Kundala Harana Parva continued. Vasabayana said it happened that at this time a Sutta named Adhirata, who was a friend of Dharadrashtra, came to the river Ganga along with his wife Radha of great beauty. Parantapa, that otherwise blessed woman, had done all she could to have a child, but without success. Coming that day to the Ganga, she saw a large wicker basket drifting on Hanabi's current. It veered towards the bank where she stood, as if moved by some unseen hand, and the woman bent to arrest it. She called her husband Adhirata, the Sutta, and he lifted the basket out of the water and prized it open. Inside, he saw a boy, dazzling like the morning sun. The infant wore golden armor, as if it was his very skin, and his stunningly beautiful face was adorned with earrings. Sutta and his wife were wonderstruck. Taking the baby onto his lap, Adhirata said to his wife, I have never in my life seen anything so wonderful. This child must be of divine birth. Surely, seeing us childless, the gods have taken pity on us and sent him to me. Saying this, O Bhumipala, he gave the infant into Radha's eager arms, and in accordance with divine law, Radha adopted the child of unearthly origin and form, who shimmered like lotus stamens and was handsome past describing. She lavished him with all her love and care, and naturally endowed with more than human strength, the child grew apace. After adopting Karna, Adhirata had other natural children, and since the child adorned with shining mail and golden earrings, the Brahmanas named him Vasusena. That is how the resplendent Suryaputra of immeasurable prowess became the son of Asarati, and came to be known as Vasusena and Brisha. Rita discovered through some spies that her child was growing up amongst the youngest as the eldest son of the Sarati, Adhirata. When the boy grew into a youth, Adhirata sent him to Hastinapura. There, Karna lived with Drona to learn the Astra Shastra, and the powerful youth befriended Duryodhana. He acquired all the four kinds of Astras from Drona, Kripa, and Parusarama, and achieved renown throughout the world as a mighty bowman. His friendship with Duryodhana ignited in him a hatred of the son of Brita, his brothers, though he did not know they were dead, and he became obsessed with fighting the noble Falguna. O king, from the first time they met, Karna and Arjuna always challenged each other. That Karna, born to Kunti of Suryadeva, was being brought up as a Sutaputra. What? Ah, okay, I understand the sentence. Sorry, my bad. That Karna, born to Kunti of Suryadeva, was being brought up as a Sutaputra was Suryadeva's secret. Seeing Karna with his Kavatsa and Kundala, Yudhishthira was troubled by the thought that he would be invincible when, after waiting, Karna worshipped the irradiant Deva at high noon. Brahmanas came to beg alms of him, and at that time of his fervent prayers, there was nothing that he would not give away to them. And so one day at the tower, assuming the guise of Abrahamana, Indra appears before Karna and says, "Give me alms," to which Radha's son replies, "You are welcome." Okay, makes sense. I guess the only aspect that I actually. Sorry, that's kind of the kind of saying. Continuing. Now, the only aspect that I actually. Yeah, one of the many things that I did not remember was that they were secret brothers, something like that. That they were sons of the same mother. They shared some part of their lineage, basically. That's I guess it has to do with the whole time forces and such of how this destiny arranges things and how they came to be together with one another and such, despite them never realizing that whole narration that is not so rare to find. The whole concept of how brothers are always bound to possess or to have a conflict between one another and always be in an eternal power struggle, so to speak. It's a very basic story, something like that, as to why, in this case, for no other apparent reason, Karna hated the, the Pandavas who are, in the end, yeah, his mates, basically. But besides that, no, there is not much else. The whole. I mean, literally everything else is incredibly rapidly explained here. Like, oh yeah, we went from him being literally a baby to him. I think this final. Yeah, we are literally on the final canto, back to the present. So we summed up probably like 30 years or so. Also, that emote, which emote is that one? Wait. Ah, the monkey emote. Ah, yeah, it's something. Ah, but yeah, that's the whole explanation, I guess. Continuing, no, as always, let me drink water. Now continuing, Canto 308. Kundala Harana Parva continues. Vasampayana said, Karna first sees Indra as Shasthanutir Brahmana and welcomes him. Adhirata's son says to the Brahmana, "What shall I give you? A necklace of gold, beautiful damsels, cattle-rich villages?" The Brahmana replies, "I do not want you to give me either a golden necklace or pretty girls, or any other such thing. Give those to men that ask for them. If you are true to your vow, cut the golden kavacha and kundala you were born with from your body, and give them to me. Parantapa, I want you to do this at once. For me this one gift is better than all others." Karna says, "O Brahmana, I will give you land for a house, beautiful virgins, cattle and fields, but I cannot give you my kavacha and kundala." Despite Karna trying to deflect him in so many ways, that Brahmana does not want anything else. Although Karna tries his best to placate him, and though he pays him much homage, that Brahmanottama refuses to compromise on what he wants. When that Divikhotama refuses to accept anything else, Radha's son says, "Divikhotama, I was born with this kavacha as part of my body, and my kundala were created from Anrita. They make me invincible in this world, and I cannot part with them. Brahmana Rishabha, let me give you the entire kingdom of earth, with no enemies and full of prosperity, but not my kavacha and kundala. Without them, I can be killed by my enemies." When the illustrious Brahmana refuses to take any other gift, Karna says, now with a smile, Deva, I have recognized you already. Oh, Lord Sakara, it is not right that I give you a gift which will bring ignominy upon you. You are the king of the devils, and it is you who shall be bestowing boons on me. If I give you my Kavacha and Kundala, I will surely meet my end, and you will as surely be ridiculed. Therefore, O Sakra, take my mail and my earrings, and but give me something in return, so that you are not demeaned. Otherwise, I will not give the Kavacha and Kundala to you. Sakra replies, even before I came, Suryadeva knew what I intended and told you about it. Karna, let it be as you wish. Except for the Baccara, tell me what it is that you wish to have. Indra's words filled Karna with delight. His purpose is about to be accomplished. Intent upon procuring an inexorable astra, he says to Indra, "Oh, Varsava, in exchange for my Kavacha and Kundala earrings, give me a weapon that cannot be defied, one which will devour enemy armies in battle array." Concentrating his mind to summon that weapon, Indra says to Karna, "Give me your Kavacha that is your skin, and your Kundala, and take this Shakti, but on one condition. When I meet Daityas in battle and lose this invincible astra, it annihilates the mightiest enemies in their thousands and flies back to my hand after it has achieved its task. In your hand, however, Sutaputra, this Shakti will slay only one enemy of yours, and having done so, it will return to me, roaring and ablaze." Karna says, "There is only one enemy that I wish to slay in battle. He burns bright and fierce, like a fire, and I am afraid of him." Indra says, "You shall indeed slay such an enemy in battle, but the one you wish to kill is protected by an exalted one. Those that are learned in the Vedas call this one invisible Harana and incomprehensible Narayana. Krishna himself protects your sworn enemy." Karna says, "Even if this is so, O illustrious, give me the weapon that will destroy only one powerful enemy, and I will cut the Kavacha and Kundala from my body and give them to you. However, grant that my body, thus wounded, will not be scared or ugly to behold." Indra says, "Karna, because you are devoted to the truth, your body will not be disfigured, and it will not have any scars. O Karna, finest among the eloquent, you shall be graced with the brilliance and prowess of your father. Here is my Basavi Shakti, and remember that if you lose this astra in a fit of anger, while there are still other weapons available to you and your life is not in immediate danger, it will turn on you." Karna says, "Oh, Sakra, I will use this Vasavi astra only when my life..." What? What? "Only when my life is in imminent peril. This I swear." Rahan, Karna accepts the smoldering weapon, and he begins to peel away the natural kavacha that coats his body, and the entire host of Devas and Danavas roar aloud to see him bearing his own skin. Karna's face does not betray his pain. Instead, he still smiles. Celestial kettle drums begin to beat, and heavenly flowers rain down on him. Karna cuts his golden kavacha from his body and gives it, still dripping blood, to Indra. From his ears he cuts his beautiful kundala and gives them to the Deva king, and for this deed of his he is called Karna. Thus taking Karna, but so giving him immortal fame. Indra is pleased that he has accomplished the Pandava's goal, and he ascends into Devaloka. Hearing that Karna had been deceived, the Haratirashtra sons are dismayed. On the other hand, learning of what has happened to the Sutaputra, Parita's princes are filled with joy. Hanamehaya said, "Where are those Adrias, the son of Pandu, at that time, who gave them this welcome news? And what did they do when the 12th year of their exile was over? Oh, illustrious one, tell me all this." Vaisambhayana said, "By this time, the heroic Pandavas have defeated the Sankhava king and rescued Krishna. They have lived out the entire term of their painful exile in the jungle. They have heard ancient legends about devas and rishis from Markandeya. Now those heroes return from their asrama in Kamyakavana to the sacred Dwata Dvaitavana. With them are all their chariots, their sarathis, their followers, citizens of their kingdom, and their cattle. And that's Canto. What are we in? 308, I guess? I don't even remember. 309? No, 308, yeah. Lesson? I guess, I don't know. Once again, I have to assume. I have to assume a lot. I remember trying to have explained this before. Just striking Karna, but so giving him immortal fame. This is the only part that actually matters. Besides that, Shalom. Are we? Welcome, guys. Good evening. Bron, but welcome anyways. Sorry. We this is no judgment sometimes. So my bad. It's not wrong. N is and not any probably. The ones that won't get anyone banned. Those ones are permitted. Hello. Those ones are permitted. Thank you. But yeah, here we are. Reading something. I was trying. What the fuck is this text? It's tripping me the fuck out. Which one? Don't worry. It's the chat. Welcome to the chat. The experience begins once you try to read the chat. Don't worry about it. You will get accustomed to it. If not, I guess, I don't know. Remove the extension, something like that. That's my author recommendation, I guess. Remove 70, I guess. Depart from your worldly attachments and never again look at things with eyes that are possessed of that other nature of the virtual realm. I don't know, something like that. What? Wait. That's that's not an emote. Are you saying that for real? Wait. I cannot. Nobody here can detect sarcasm. If you're saying that for real, this is where we part ways. So I don't know. Tread carefully, brother. I don't know. You trigger a skill check right now. I also no, sorry, my bad. I don't have enough lore on myself. Yeah, I don't know. There are like way too many. There are way too many things that I know references to stuff, but yeah, it's fine. You can keep on scrolling. Don't worry about it. There are like a thousand different things, a thousand different. Not a thousand. I think we have like 400, 300. I don't know how many. Most regular words are replaced. Anyways, I'm reading. Sorry, I I should focus on this. By the way, how do I go to the chat to make sense? Once again, the only easy way is either you scroll on every you not scroll, you place your mouse on every single word that is converted into an emote, or the middle way is also you memorize every single one of them, which I didn't do. You utilize a non 70B haber version of the chat. That's the easiest one of them. But yeah, thank you. Thank you for asking. I hope it helps. Sorry. Sorry for being so incredibly obnoxious. Nah, that's the nature of things. Anyway. What was the point? I don't know. Yes. Yeah, we were trying to actually get to what's the conclusion after so much text. What's the conclusion after so? I don't think there is that much. Welcome. Welcome for real now, Ren. Here run to Mahabharata, I don't know. It's an epic text. I hope you like it. Yes. That's my welcome. It's what is it about? An epic story from the Hindus, something like that, I guess. I don't know. Actually, yeah, there is not much to say in this chapter. I finished reading that one. That's all that happened. It's well, really moving incredibly slowly. How much have I been here for 2 hours? No, yeah, and I haven't actually progressed that much. But it happens. Also, why is I guess it can be taken as an insult or something like that. But why is schizo filter anyway? I don't know. It's fine. Don't worry. No, I know I have to tag. I don't even know why. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I was saying. No, yeah, I don't actually have any more to say. There is nothing more to add. No, nothing more to try and decode here. Just in case, let me try to see. I mean, no. All of this other stuff we also have already seen before, I guess. Ah, towards us? No, no, I guess it's the concept of calling others schizos and such. More so, I guess you can still once again you can write schizophrenic, you can write schizophrenia, but you can write schizo in itself for some random reason. I guess it's like when you make words slurs, it's like the shortened version of Japanese, which for some random reason is also considered that I am ESL. So I don't have the whole lore behind why that one in particular, but yeah, that sense of the word for some reason being levad word now. But anyway, don't worry, we are fine. It's understandable. Don't worry. So, oh yeah, nothing else to add. Yes, and Americans are weird. It's their uh, uh, yes. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's. Is it bad to say? I think it's like the elephant in the room that people decide to not acknowledge. It's something that might be the case. Might not be. I don't know. Something like that. But yeah. Ah, you know, we're reading. So let me continue reading. It's, sorry, sorry. It's literally all my fault. Don't worry. Ah. I mean, I don't know. I guess. Okay, let me say this before continuing. Let me say it like this. I guess to some degree the issue is also the way in which the culture has changed so much around the way in which humor is accepted has tried to evolve into something far more nuanced and far more acceptable for everyone, in which the joke is far more understandable for literally every single person. The issue is it didn't ever get taught to anybody properly, so it's hard to make fun of things without offending anyone when you are not told the rules. I guess it could happen that it will be as in any other situation, if we all understood what was the underlying messages and such, it would happen that we will all get to not hurt the sensitivities of others, but in this case, it's out of nowhere things that are a sensible thing for someone else. No, yeah, but the issue is you can do a you can let's say like this: you can tell a joke without offending someone as long as you understand what the other person has or how the other person is going to interpret what you say. The issue is knowing how to do so. And if you don't know what the other person has as an issue for themselves, it's impossible for you to just guess. It's the whole solution of boiling it down to what's the word? to communication issues and such. Yeah, but basically that, basically. So that's why in the end, nowadays, talking is so censored, I guess, but acceptable, I guess, I don't know. Yeah, something like that. At least we get to continue having stuff like this, so I'm happy. I'm not going to get angry. But personally, I guess on a other some losses have been experienced in the way, but it's fine anyway. We are still up, so it's not like we are fully censored. So at least I guess I can be happy with that. So yeah, you learn you learn to accept even if it's not the best reality, I guess, something like that. Not that once again, not that it actually is bad to a certain degree. It's more like makes sense that it could be better, but whatever. Anyway, let me see. Yes, I'm also. Wow. Good night. Good night, bro. Wow. What an inquiry. And it's amazing. Have a good night, bro. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Let me see. How much is this? Can we do this whole canto? No, right? This is incredibly long, actually. Holy. Yeah, no, we are not going to do this whole canto. I guess we're going to do like two cantos. Two more cantos, and after that, we're going with this one. For today. What's that canto, anyways? Why is it so long? Whatever. Point is, the show must go on or something like that. Canto 309, Araneya Parva. Ramahaya said, what did the Pandavas do after they had endured such anguish on the kidnapping of Krishna and after rescuing her? Vaisampayana said, after their difficult time, when Krishna was abducted, the ever-glorious Yudhishthira and his brothers left the Kamyakavana and returned to the large Dvaitavana. The sons of Pandu lived there with their wife, frugally eating fruit and engaged in their paratas. During their stay in Dvaitavana, Yudhishthira, Vimasena, Arjuna, and Madri's sons undergo a great trial for the sake of Brahmana. However, their troubles turn out to be the very means to their future world. I will tell you of the strange difficulty that those foremost of Kurus face while living in those woods, which in the end brings them good fortune. Listen, once a satyr is frolicking about, it happens that two Arani sticks, which a devout Brahmana used to light his daily fire, and his churning staff, become entangled in its antlers. In alarm, the stag runs out of the asrama, swiftly and with long leaps, with the sticks and staff still caught on his head. Kurushtama, the Brahmana sees his most precious possessions, which he uses to light his sacred fire, being carried away and utterly distraught, comes running to the Pandavas. He goes to Ajatasatru, who is sitting in the forest with his brothers, and cries, a deer was playing near my asrama, O king, and my fire sticks and churning staff, which I had tied to a tree, got caught in its antlers. That swift creature fled with great leaps, taking my sticks and staff. Pandavas, you must follow its tracks and retrieve them for me, so that my Agnihotra does not pause. Yudhishthira is concerned. He takes up his bow, and the son of Kunti sets out at once. His brothers pick up their bows and follow him in search of the deer, all of them eager to help the Brahmana. The Maharathas spot the deer quite close by and shoot it with arrows, but however they try, they cannot wound the animal at all, and it runs from them. As they go after it a long way, the fine stag suddenly vanishes. Dispirited at having lost their quarry, tired, thirsty, and hungry, the Pandavas sit down in the shade of a banyan tree deep in the forest. Here, Nakula, who is both disheartened and impatient, says to Yudhishthira, in our clan, Rohan, we never abandon our dharma, nor do we ever lose our wealth from idleness. We never refuse or fail anyone who asks for our help. least of all of Rahmana, why then have we met this fate today? I guess una way sorry, end of Canto 309, yeah. The concept then is this. Next canto themed around this failure. But yeah. Something else to say? No, I'm pretty sure, yeah. In one of the many recent readings that we have, I guess that one was also like 30 cantos ago at this point, the whole concept of a deer not being actually a deer. A deer being a deva, as in a god, one of the many gods, transformed into a deer, is distracting these guys. That's what's happening. Because otherwise, how do you explain that literally one of the, not one, the best archers of the entire world were incapable of actually hunting down an animal, literally shooting at it and such. So that's the basic concept as to how it does make sense that they are so much in distraught. It's like, I guess, an easily missable point or something like that. Otherwise, they are literally almost living deities. They should not have been capable of not hunting down a normal animal. But yeah, anything else is not so important, I guess. Or not so. Yeah, nothing else has that much of a. No. There is one concept, yeah, there is one. Why the whole family goes after a. It's also quite simple. The whole family goes after it, but it's literally this to help the Brahmana. All of them eager to help the Brahmana. The concept of how a remembrance of the necessity to be capable of paying attention to the Brahmanas in the whole, what is it, in the whole caste system, unavoidably this bad, even if just one of them ends up ignoring a request of a Brahmana. So in this case also, it was already described as such. Being carried away, and utterly distraught, comes running to the Pandavas. The Brahmana itself asked for the help of all of them. Therefore, it was impossible for them to reject him. In terms of they all were involved in this next situation. So, moving on. Canto 310. Araneya Parva continued. Yudhishthira says there is no limit to troubles, nor is it possible to determine their final outcome. The Lord Dharma is solely responsible for giving out the fruits of both punya and papa. Bhima growls, this is the bitter fruit of my not having killed the Pratikamin on the spot when he dragged Krishna into the Kurusapha like a slave. Arjuna says softly, we have met with his failure today because I did nothing to answer the vicious words of the Sutaputra, words that pierce me to my bones. Sakadeva says, surely, Mahabharata, this calamity has befallen us because I did not kill Saguni when he cheated you at dice. Yudhishthira says to Nakula, climb this tree and look around at the 10 points of the horizon. Can you see water or water plants anywhere near us? Dal, your brothers are tired and thirsty. Nakula quickly climbs the tree and after looking all around says, which one is Nakula? I read it myself. Rakan, I see many trees that grow beside some large body of water, and I hear the cries of cranes. There must surely be water somewhere near. Yudhishthira says, can someone go and fetch water in these quivers? At his brother's command, Nakula hurries towards the tree he saw, and soon sees a lake of crystalline water, on whose banks cranes live, and he wants to drink from it. Just then he hears a voice from the sky, which says, "Oh, child, do not drink, for this lake belongs to me. Son of Materi, you must far answer my questions, and then you may drink to your heart's content, and also take as much water as you need with you." Nakula, however, is parched with thirst, and ignoring the Asariri from the sky, he kneels and drinks the cool water. Immediately he kneels so he kills over there. Parantapa, seeing that Nakula is laid, Yudhishthira says to Sahadeva, "Our brother has been gone a long time. Go and bring your twin back and fetch the water too." Sahadeva sets out in the same direction, and soon he comes to the lake where his brother lies dead on its bank. In agony of thirst, he goes towards the water when he hears a voice saying, "Oh, child, do not drink. This lake belongs to me. First answer my question, and then you might drink and take away as much water as you want." But Sahadeva is also parched, and, disregarding the disembodied voice, drinks the water, and immediately he also falls dead. When Sahadeva does not return, Yudhishthira says to Arjuna, "It is a long time since your mothers went, Bibhatsu. Go and bring them back, as well as water. You are the one we always turn to when we are in trouble." Accordingly, Arjuna takes his bow and arrows, as well as his unseated ward, and goes towards the lake. Arriving, Svetavahana sees his two younger brothers who had come to fetch water, lying there. Seeing them, that lying among men is heartbroken. He raises his bow and looks around but sees no one in the thick forest that surrounds the lake. He too is tired and goes towards the water. As he nears it, he hears a voice speaking from the sky. "Why are you going to the water? I am a yaksha and this lake is mine. I forbid you to drink from it. Oh, Kaunteya, if you can answer the riddles I will ask you, only then may you drink and take away as much water as you want." Arjuna says, "Show yourself and then try to stop me. When my arrow pierces you, you will never speak again." And he sprays his mantra-invoked arrows all around, displaying his expertise at Sabdabedi, shooting an invisible target, tracking it only by sound. Annoyed by thirst and fatigue, he launches a towering fountain of countless arrows into the sky. Then the invisible Yaksha says, "Why do you go through all this trouble, Partha? You need only answer my questions to drink from the lake. However, if you drink without doing so, you will also die." Arjuna ignores the Asariri and helps himself to the water. Immediately, he drops dead. On not seeing Arjuna return, Yudhishthira says to Bhimasena, "Parantapa, it is such a long time since Nakula, Sahadeva, and Bibhatsu went to fetch water, and they have not yet come back. Mahabharata, bless you, go and bring them back, and the water too." Bhima sets out at once for the lake where those tigers among men, his brothers, lie dead, and seeing them, Bhima, afflicted though he is with thirst, is horrified. The mighty armed hero thinks that this must be the work of some yaksha or rakshasa. Brikodara thinks, "I will surely have to fight today, so let me first quench my thirst." And he goes quickly towards the lake to drink the water. The unseen Yaksha says, "Oh, child, do not drink. This lake belongs to me. First answer my questions, then drink and take away as much water as you like." Bhima does not bother to reply, but bends and drinks from the lake. And as soon as he does so, he also falls there. It's the funniest canto so far. Yudhishthira waits a little longer, saying to himself, "Why are the two sons of Madri so late? Why does the winner of the Gandiva delay? And what keeps mighty Bhima away so long? I will go and search for them." Darling, Yudhishthira gets up, his body burning with thirst and his mind with some dismay. Yudhishthira thinks, is this forest enchanted by some evil spell? Or is it infested by deadly predators? Have they all vanished because they have disregarded some mighty being? Perhaps they did not find water where they went and are scouring the forest in search of some? Why have those bulls among men not returned? Thinking these thoughts, the illustrious Yudhishthira, foremost of monarchs, enters the thick forest where no human sound is heard, where deer, bears, and birds live, where bright green trees grow like ornaments, where black bees hum and birds warble sweetly. He comes upon the lovely lake, which looks as if it has been created by Brahma himself. It is adorned with golden-hued flowers, lotuses and sinhubaras, and encircled by dense woods of Kechaka, Karavira, and Pipalite trees. The exhausted youth still sees the lake and is speechless with wonder. And what about the dead bodies? But no, that's Canto 310. I don't know. Funniest canto so far. I actually don't understand what's the lesson going to be. Respect the deities, the gods. I don't know, actually. Be vigilant about the voices that you hear in the follow your instinct. I don't know. I have no idea. I thought it was about the stress of failing the mission. Out of nowhere, it turns into literally people dying for drinking water. So I have no idea. Absolutely no clue. But yeah, that's Canto 310. Now, question: is the next canto the long canto? We're actually going to not read this. It's incredibly long. It's 6, 7, 8 pages long. I'm not going to read this. Also, it wasn't intended 6, 7 lines. Anyway, there we go. There is your dose of brain rot for today. Also, thank you. So no more for me today. I did everything. A complete stream. No need to play zombie to get brain rotted today. It's amazing. Who would have expected that? What is the unseen world is the fastest one, something like that. But anyway, there we go. That's all for today. Yeah, way too much reading actually. So not too much, but like, oh, actually, it was incredibly enjoyable. More along the lines of not trying to tire myself out. I don't know. I think I have been trying to rest well and such, so it's quite a good opportunity actually. It was on an incredibly good time, even. And yeah, I wanted to stream yesterday, I remember. I said I was going to read yesterday, I didn't. Anyway, doesn't matter, the point is here we are. Thank you. So, as always, thanks for being here. Thanks for the patience, for the interest, for everything. It has been a wonderful time. And yeah, I don't have much more to add so far. I think we are done, actually. So yes, have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your day, great existence as always. And thanks for the time, the patience, the interest. Remember to take care, to be happy, to hydrate, to drink water, to rest, to everything, to be responsible to everything. And yeah, I don't know. See you next time. And even if we don't get to see each other next time, that doesn't matter at all. Thanks for everything. Have a good night. Yeah, no right. And both like that.